take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby, so take it along. I said we got what you need, honey, come and groove along.
I'm in!
Rolling on the highway, you know. Wow!
I'm in, and so is he.
And groove along. Come on. I said, babe. I said, babe.
Welcome to the awards ceremony of the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards of Southwestern Pennsylvania. First, I want to thank President Jones and Jeff Jones for supporting the Scholastic program at Cal U for more than a decade. Then I want to thank the Scholastic Board for their labor and dedication, work that has sustained the program and honored hundreds of young artists and writers for almost 20 years. And thank you, parents, for encouraging your sons and daughters. Thank you, teachers, for inspiring your students. Many of you have been encouraging Scholastic participants for nearly 20 years. But this celebration is for you, the 2021 honorees. Thank you for surprising us once again with the power of your words and your art. This celebration is all about you. Scholastic Art and Writing Awards has offered the first opportunity for many young artists and writers just like you. Amanda Gorman, just like you, was a winner of gold and silver keys in her middle school and high school only a few years ago. And then there she was on January the 20th, speaking to an audience of thousands from the steps of the Capitol. Amanda was speaking for all of you when she promised, "We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, for there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it." We don't know what stories you will write, what diseases you will study, what artwork you will create, what buildings you will design, but we do know that your scholastic success today is only one step on your path to other successes. By sharing your terrific work with us, you have exhibited your talent, your dedication, and your courage. Thank you and congratulations.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Jones. As a board member for the Scholastic Arts and Writing Awards of Southwestern Pennsylvania, I'm pleased to introduce a special guest and a true patron of the arts, my wife, Geraldine Jones, who recently retired from her role as president of California University of Pennsylvania. Jerry was instrumental in bringing this arts and writing program to Cal U when she was the university's chief academic officer, and she has been a proud supporter of the program ever since. Today, and together, we have enjoyed seeing the remarkable works of art produced by young people of our region. Year after year, the tremendous creative energy on display during this event has inspired and delighted us. So please give a wave and say hello to former university president, Jerry Jones.
Thank you, Jeff. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual award ceremony. Although we can't be together in person, I'm delighted that so many of you are here to celebrate our amazing young artists and writers. I want to thank Ms. Janice Hatfield and colleagues for their ongoing commitment to the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards of Southwestern Pennsylvania. I know that California University appreciates the opportunity to support this wonderful event. Creative expression is always important, but it has been essential during this pandemic year. It gives us an outlet for our ideas, thoughts, and feelings. It helps us connect with others, often in a very powerful way. In addition, it brings beauty to the world, even in difficult times. So I congratulate all the young artists whose creative works are being recognized today. Your talents are inspiring, and I encourage each of you to continue working on your craft. You will discover that creativity adds a special element to your life and the lives of those you touch. To the parents, family members, and friends of these talented students, as a mother and grandmother, I know the pride and love each of you feels for your child today. I thank you for encouraging their creativity and nurturing their interest in writing and art. Your support plays an important role in your children's success, and I applaud you for everything you've done to nurture these young artists and writers. Thank you for being part of this exceptional program. And again, congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Kim Vanderlaan of the Southwest Pennsylvania Scholastic Board. 1923 marks the founding of the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, a remarkable organization that has been applauding the extraordinary talents of bold and creative teens throughout the country ever since. Truman Capote, at the age of 12 in 1936, Sylvia Plath, Langston Hughes, John Updike, Robert Redford, Joyce Carol Oates, John Lithgow, Stephen King, Ken Burns, Richard Linklater, and Lena Dunham are only the tip of an enormous iceberg representing Scholastic Award winners who went on to earn worldwide celebrity. John Updike, in fact, famously observed, "The artist brings something into the world that didn't exist before, and he does it without destroying something else." Richard Linklater once quipped about the process of artistic creation, "The idea is to remain in a state of constant departure while always arriving." Today, we arrive and gather and celebrate the extraordinary talents of young people whose artistic vision has resulted in remarkable written and/or visual productions. We all on the Scholastic Board raise a toast to you. Congratulations.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Connie Monroe. We will begin today with our writing awards. You already got to see some of our writers in the introduction video, and you will be able to hear some of our Gold Key and American Voice nominees reading excerpts of their work as we go through our process today. Our first category is American Voices. American Voice nominees' work is judged to be the best in show in terms of originality, technical skills, and the emergence of a personal voice or vision. Our regional jury collaborates to select 5 manuscripts from our Gold Key winners to nominate for this award, which is later selected by the national jury. You will have a chance to hear these authors reading during the process of our awards today. This year, our American Voice nominees, who were also Gold Key winners, are Riley Dunn for science fiction and fantasy, Gianna Fignilli for poetry, Emma Malinak for poetry, Sarah Rushak for humor, and Eden Silveira for short story. Our Gold Key winners are also Alana Mitchell for dramatic script, Sarah Rushak for flash fiction, Eden Silveira for science fiction and fantasy, and Mia Zubovic for critical essay. Before we move on to our Silver Key winners, we will have a chance to see an excerpt from one of our writers.
She'd seen a young woman, her eyes the same deep blue as Danny's, her hair the same chocolate brown, her features matching Danny's exactly, save for the scar and the magic. This woman had no scar over her right eye, while Danny did. And this woman's hands were crackling with the furious might of fire, while Danny's could only emit the coldness of ice. Danny hadn't wanted to believe it. She'd been raised by the guild, plain and simple. The calm and steady mages had always been her only connection to her childhood. But the elder had gone further than that, showing her other sisters. Apparently there were 4 of them, including Mirabelle, identical quadruplets. And Danny was the 5th, who her mother had given up in a deal with the guild's grand master. It had made a twisted sort of sense when Danny really thought about it. She'd heard descriptions of the Inferno Mirabelle throughout all of the Eastern Kingdoms, but had never once thought about the similarities between Mirabelle's features and her own. The storytellers usually gave her a sharp look when they caught sight of her face, and yet they stayed just as quiet as Danny herself. It made sense, and it terrified Danica. It terrified her that she might actually have a place to belong, that she had a family in the kingdom of Xantia. All these thoughts had come to her in an instant. It was part of the reason why she'd been so angered at the elder, enough to hit him with an icicle. She'd been motivated by pure fear.
Our Silver Key Writing Awards this year start with Tristan Adams, who had 4 awards in poetry and an award in flash fiction. Logan Baker for short story. Rebecca Balistreri for journalism. Noah Basinger for science fiction and fantasy. Zach Bird for personal essay and memoir. Nicholas Bourne for writing portfolio. Angelina Brensteiner for short story and for writing portfolio. Corey Bryant for flash fiction. Skylar Harrington for poetry. Morgan Hirschberger for science fiction and fantasy, also for poetry. Miranda Hitt for poetry. Maya Kilgore for short story. Ashlyn Koch for short story. Danica Land for poetry. Ava Luxus for poetry. Emma Malinak with 2 awards for poetry. Tyler McDaniel for flash fiction. Chase Mertz for flash fiction. Alana Mitchell for science fiction and fantasy. Christina Morris for novel writing. Kaylee Reynolds for short story and also for science fiction and fantasy. Sarah Rushak for dramatic script. Taylor Sarniak for poetry. TJ Sedlak for poetry. Abigail Showman for science fiction and fantasy, also for short story. Maria Spedlier for science fiction and fantasy. Chase Theodori for humor. Skylar Van Winkle for personal essay and memoir. James Wang for science fiction and fantasy. Ashley Yovio for poetry. And Rachel Zeisloft for short story. Before we move to our honorable mention writers, we are going to have another chance to see another one of our authors reading an excerpt from their writing.
The importance of a mask. Do you know what the risk is? The coronavirus pandemic has created a controversy concerning whether an individual should be required to wear a mask especially in the United States. On one side of the argument, individuals believe that being forced to wear a mask goes against their individual rights and freedoms. On the other side of the argument, there is scientific evidence that shows wearing a mask can slow the spread of the virus and save human lives. So the question that needs to be answered is it more important to protect individual rights or save human lives? I decided to write my piece because I wanted to educate others on how important and respectful it is to wear a mask. I strongly believe that wearing a mask is not a restriction on my freedom, but an obligation to protect not only the ones I love, but the ones fighting to save lives every day. Thank you.
To begin our honorable mention writers, we have Braden Andrews for science fiction and fantasy, also for short story. Gina Bellissimo for flash fiction, humor, and poetry. Elena Bobin for short story, and also for personal essay and memoir. Nicholas Bourne for novel writing. Ava Bossetti for personal essay and memoir. Thomas Breckenridge for science fiction and fantasy. Corey Bryant for poetry. Bryce Burkhart for poetry. Ava Butchke for journalism and also critical essay. Dominic Salashi for poetry. We will have more honorable mention students in just a moment after we pause for another writer.
Hi, my name is Emma Malinak, and I am honored to be an American Voices nominee this year. I'll be sharing with you a poem titled Little Things. Here's to the sunshine that kisses my nose, to the sand that sticks to all my toes, to pinky promise secrets in which we confide, and belting songs on long car rides. Here's to eating dessert before dinner, to the triumph of being the board game winner, to dancing alone with 2 left feet and taking a carefree skip down the street. Here's to coffee when I'm too tired to think, to giggles, inside jokes, and winks, to the glow of the moon on the clearest of nights, and your smile that's always just as bright. Here's to the serenity of a silent prayer, to the relief of knowing He is always there, to the tears that clear my racing head, and the motivation to get out of bed. Here's to good and bad days, and those in between, to the roller coaster ride that is being a teen, to serendipitous chance and omniscient fate, and every golden memory that we create. Here's to the unknown, to leaps of faith, to every opportunity that awaits, to the pillar values that guide my core, and the knowledge that I am stronger than before. Here's to safety, health, and love, to my family, those here and those above, to the blessings that surround me every day, and the hope that they are here to stay. Here's to all the little things that connect me to joy with invisible strings, that inspire me to march on with a smile and give me the courage to fight for a while. Thank you, and I hope you can find the joy in all the little things just like I do. Bye, everyone.
To continue with our honorable mention students, Catherine Chapman for short story, Jack Chauvin for poetry, Gage Converso for science fiction and fantasy, Emily Eubank for poetry, Gianna Fagnilli for journalism, Quinn Farinya for dramatic script and also personal essay and memoir, Anna Fike for personal essay and memoir, Anna Gump for journalism, also writing portfolio, Jerry Jiang for critical essay, Lucas Judy for poetry, Alex Kolowitz for humor. Ashton Couch for personal essay and memoir. Danica Land for short story, also for poetry. Abigail Lipscomb for short story. Amelia Longnecker for poetry. Wyatt Lucas for journalism. Emma Malinak with 2 awards for poetry. Chase Mertz for poetry. Alexandra Milchovich with 2 awards for poetry. Caroline Miller for poetry. Samantha Mincone for science fiction and fantasy. Jack Moffett for poetry, also critical essay. Marissa Naylor for poetry. We will have more honorable mention winners in a moment after another video clip from another one of our Gold Key winners.
Hi, this is my piece, A Letter to Professor Johnson. It's a humorous letter written by a preschool teacher to the head of this very fancy, expensive private kindergarten program. And she's trying to get one of her students into the program. And here's part of the letter. Dear Professor Johnson, I'm writing to recommend my student, Charlie Pemberley, to your prestigious Johnson Primary Education Program, entering as a kindergarten student. I can't count the number of times.
Sorry. Let me start that over.
Charlie has approached me during playtime to. Hi, this is my piece, A Letter to Professor Johnson. It's a humorous letter written by a preschool teacher to the head of this very fancy, expensive private kindergarten program. And she's trying to get one of her students into the program. And here's part of the letter. Dear Professor Johnson, I'm writing to recommend my student, Charlie Pemberley, to your prestigious Johnson Primary Education Program, entering as a kindergarten student. I can't count the number of times Charlie has approached me during playtime to list some of your many successful alumni or statistics about how you rank compared to the other, obviously inferior private kindergarten programs in the country. As for Charlie himself, he is an exemplary student, one of my best. He was one of the first members of my class to master addition, and has recently moved on to identifying trigonomic functions. His sandcastles are architectural feats that are reminiscent of the style of Frank Lloyd Wright. He opened a solo art exhibition at a local museum this past month to universal praise. It was entitled A Look into the Heart of the Patriarchy in Sidewalk Chalk. He won the election for class president in a landslide, securing both the electoral and popular class vote. He ran on a progressive platform of longer story time, larger cubbies, and campaign finance reform. In conclusion, I wholeheartedly recommend Charlie to your program, where I'm sure you'll be able to help his young mind further flourish. Sincerely, Ms. Parkson, Lindy Preschool for the Rich and Gifted. P.S. If at all possible, could you please return Charlie's parents' application for financial aid to them as soon as possible? The fact that one semester at your school costs as much as an entire Harvard education is slightly concerning to them.
To continue with our honorable mention students. Natalie Palanchar for science fiction and fantasy. Ori Pavlish for poetry and also for personal essay and memoir. Tim Rita for science fiction and fantasy. Ava Scalise for personal essay and memoir. TJ Sedlak for flash fiction. Ava Scalise for personal essay and memoir. Megan Shaw with 2 awards for critical essays. Madison Solon for poetry. Maria Spedlier for short story. Nathan Stanchfield for science fiction and fantasy. Eliana Thomas for short story. Gianna Valenti with 2 awards for critical essay. Lauren Van Divner with 2 awards for science fiction and fantasy. Nicholas Walsh for poetry. Ben Ware for short story. Ella Yancey for poetry, also for science fiction and fantasy. Brandon Yaschenko for personal essay and memoir, and Mia Zubovic for short story.
All the Speckled Moonlight is a story about hope in the midst of grief. It starts out immediately after the main character's mother died and he's left with his father, who he believes doesn't truly love him. He's very discouraged and he believes the only way to earn his father's love and acceptance is to work. This all comes to a head near the end of the story when he rescues a newly born pup from under his porch who has also just lost his mother. I will warn you, for those of you who are emotional, this story might make you cry. Andrew lagged behind a second, looking at the sky. "Thank you, Ma," he whispered to the dark. "I'll take care of her for you. And don't worry, Pa and I are gonna be okay, I promise." The clouds parted momentarily, and the darkness of the night around him was strangely transformed by the abiding glow of the moon. All the speckled
Please note that all of our gold and silver writing can be enjoyed fully with the manuscripts in our book for this year. The link to the 2021 book will be published already on our Southwestern Pennsylvania regional website of theartandwriting.org. The link to the book is also available in our online exhibition that you will be able to see later during this ceremony. Earlier, we explained that the national jury chooses our American Voice winner. We're pleased to announce that on March 17th, the national jury announced that Gianna Fagnelli is our American Voice honoree for our region. She also won a national level gold medal. Congratulations, Gianna.
The year 2020 was hectic and packed with chaos. I chose to write this poem to sum up this insane year and convey the adaptations we've had to make with the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, I think we can all agree that the year 2020 is definitely one for the history books. The year 2020. We are hybrid schooling, remotely learning. A holiday approaching, another quarantine looming. The days are still passing. The year 2020. The future I'm fearing. No vision, no celebration, no end in sight. No feeling of calm in ending this plight of the year 2020. Thank you. The year
She cut her off. Hi, I'm Sandy Boyles, co-director of the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. My husband, Mike, who is also a board member, and I will be announcing the Scholastic Art Awards shortly. Before we do, we have a short message from one of our former regional and national award winners, Lissa Current, who also happens to be one of my former art students at Charleroi Area High School. Lissa?
Hello, I'm Lissa Current, and this is me whenever I was a participant in Scholastic in 2015 representing Charleroi High School. I participated in Scholastics all through my high school career, finishing off my last year, making a portfolio that made its way to nationals in New York. The categories that Scholastics had really made me think of different mediums to explore. If it wasn't for this, I'd have no clue how much I enjoyed making experimental fashion. Behind me are some of the works I made for that portfolio. The awards ceremony each year pushed me to set goals and work on a timeline that extended beyond my allotted time for art class. This portfolio is what I used to apply to different universities. I ended up going to the Tyler School of Art at Temple University in Philadelphia. Here is some of the work I made during that time. Surprise, surprise, it was more experimental fashion. Now, here I am, 6 years past the last time I competed in Scholastics. I'm living in Canada and I'm selling my artwork through my own personal art website, through exposure I'm getting on social media. Ultimately, the Scholastic ceremony and seeing my work in a gallery is what helped me realize that art is the career that I want. The Scholastics format also helped me prepare professionally for the opportunities I had ahead. I want to congratulate everyone for participating in Scholastics this year. I still actively connect and collaborate with artists I met through Scholastics. And I'm still very close to my art teachers from high school that helped me all the way through because I couldn't have done it without them. Scholastics ultimately teaches you about the art world outside of a high school classroom. Networking, healthy competition, and being inspired by other creative people the same age as me were all new territory at 16, 17, 18. All of those skills are super important to learn at this age, and I'm proud of all of you for participating in Scholastics. Because right now, this isn't your peak. It's just the start of all the great opportunities that are going to be ahead of your individual careers. And that's it. Thanks so much for letting me speak, and congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa. That was inspiring. Now to the awards. We will be announcing the gold, silver, and honorable mention awards by category, then the portfolios, and finally the American Visions nominees. As we do, you will have a chance to view the artist's work from the exhibit. Our first category is ceramics and glass. Jessica Richtarski won an honorable mention for her work Linen.
In the category of comic art, Katie Kalila received an honorable mention for short comic I made for a summer pre-college.
In the category of digital art, we have Dylan Haggerty, who won a gold key for Confrontation.
Michaela Rathel received a gold key for Bunny Magical Girl.
Asia Miller received 2 silver keys, one for Thought and another for Portrait of an Artist as a Young Drag Queen.
Michaela Rathel received 2 silver keys for Bunny Girl and Mittens.
Gabriella Signorini won a silver key and an honorable mention. The first silver key was for Overwhelmed, and the honorable mention was for Ouroboros.
In the category of drawing and illustration, Katie Kalila received a gold key for It's Me.
Justin Aguizio won a gold key for his creativity portrait.
Kaylin Hartman, gold key for The Way of Roads.
Liam Hartman, gold key for Happy Trapper.
Sienna Heasley received 3 gold keys for her works Patchwork, Serenity, and Shadowed, which also won an American Visions nomination.
Ava Luxus won a gold key and an American Visions award for How I Perceive Myself to Be.
Delia McCurdy, gold key for self-portrait.
Rebecca Nicholson, gold key, Midnight Snack.
Sarah Pointek received a gold key for Can't Escape.
Delia McCurdy won 2 silver keys, one for Death Do Us Part and Utopian Dystopian.
Rebecca Nicholson received 5 Silver Keys. First for Degenerate Art, Fish Carnival, Rat King, Too Much, and Dental Carbonation.
Sarah Pointek received a Silver Key for Footsteps.
And Evelyn Roberts received 2 Silver Keys for Hope Rising and Heart of Paris.
Krista Bell won an honorable mention for Portrait of My Hero, Paul Bish.
Alexis Boas received an honorable mention for Who's Here?
Abigail Dugan received an honorable mention for Now Leaving.
Mary Dunphy, an honorable mention for Power of a Duck.
Gabriella Manzeri, honorable mention for Still Life, My Life.
Dalia McCurdy, 5 honorable mentions. Hand Holding Camera, Self-Portrait, Viking Funeral, Kindred Spirits, and Dead Sport.
Rebecca Nicholson won 4 honorable mentions. 1 for Your Local Radio Station, Cannibal Cuisine, Casual Unsuspicious Digging, and Storm.
Sarah Pointek, an honorable mention for Always by My Side.
Megan Sabo for If Only I Knew You.
Preston Sears, honorable mention for Distorted Self-Portrait.
Haley Shoemate, honorable mention for Flower Field.
Leah Stein, 3 honorable mentions for Inktober Day 20, Coral, Haunted Seas, Skull 2, and Aticophobia.
Madison Wallach received an honorable mention for Two Kois.
And Haley Whitaker received honorable mention for Haley.
In the category of editorial cartoon, Rebecca Nicholson received an honorable mention for America's Nightmare.
In the fashion category, Bailey Gammon received a gold key for Behind Your Back.
Taney Basinger received a silver key for Wings of Spring.
And Austin Marshalak received honorable mention for Ruffle Chest Jumpsuit.
In the category of film and animation, Taney Basinger received a gold key and was also an American Visions nominee for Fabric of Thought.
Rachel Nicholson received a Silver Key for Love and Loneliness.
Rainey Elling received an honorable mention for The Ghost Next Door.
In the category of jewelry, Alexis Boaz received a Silver Key for Bloody Knives.
In the category of mixed media, Gina Kauser received a gold key for Through the Eyes of Oasis.
Sienna Heasley received a gold key for Ablaze.
Kylie Kozel received an honorable mention for Divergent Self-Portrait.
Emma Riddle received an honorable mention for Forgive Me, They Were Delicious.
Now, in the category of painting, we have Gina Kauser, who won a gold key and an American Visions nominee for A Morning with Him.
Sienna Heasley received a gold key for Golden.
Rishi Janapareddy received a gold key and was an American Visions nominee for Soldier.
Donata Lancaster received a gold key for her work Judgment.
Elena McDaniel received a gold key for On Top of the World.
Asia Miller received 2 gold keys for her works Dragons and Main Street, Steubenville, Ohio.
Madison Peterson received a gold key for Lazy Pug.
Ariel Sherk received a gold key for Just a Girl.
Mary Dunphy received a silver key for Blue Days of a Dog.
And Sienna Heasley, a silver key for Electrified.
Rishi Janapareddy received a silver key for Natural Elegance.
Asia Miller received 4 silver keys for Symphony in A Minor, Core Spezzato, Last Dance, and Symphony in C Sharp.
Ava Maria Seppi received a silver key for Abbey Road.
Jamison Skiles received a silver key for Enough.
Alexis Boaz received an honorable mention for One Line Mom.
And Kendall Boone, an honorable mention for Agony.
Sienna Heasley received 3 honorable mentions, one for soul music, finest print, and dawning.
Rishi Janapareddy, honorable mention for He Who Had a Dream.
Ava Conton received an honorable mention for A House Divided Against Itself.
And Elena McDaniel, an honorable mention for hashtag 2020, hashtag still dreaming.
Asia Miller received 2 honorable mentions for Fermata and COVID 2020.
Evelyn Roberts, honorable mention for My Dream.
Ariel Sherg received 4 honorable mentions for Ongoing Battle, Hypnos, Electra, and Cherry Bomb.
Haley Shoemate received 2 honorable mentions for her works Distracted and Free.
In the category of photography, Paige Fino received a gold key for Lost in the Moment.
Alexandra Kofler, a gold key for The White of Her Eye.
Paige Fino received a silver key for Rainy Nights.
Nathan Sander received 2 silver keys, one for Good Night and one for Blooming.
Rachel Chase received an honorable mention for Fresh.
Paige Fino received 3 honorable mentions for Crashing Down, Drops of Life, and Symbiosis.
Alexandra Koffler received 2 honorable mentions, one for Grace Way and A Dancer in Her Unnatural Habitat.
Rhodey Roberts, honorable mention for A New Perspective.
Megan Sabo, honorable mention for Dead in Light.
Nathan Sander for Crash Landing.
In the category of printmaking, Rebecca Nicholson received a gold key for Goldfish Carnival.
And Melanie Dubich received a silver key for Colorful Pastures.
In the category of sculpture, Jessica Richtarski received a silver key for Energy.
And Emily Gammon received a silver key for Adolescent Mind.
Now, in the category of portfolio, first of all, a portfolio represents a series of 6 distinct works that communicate a single cohesive idea or visual investigation. The works can come from one category or any combination of multiple categories. Only seniors may submit a portfolio, which may also include works submitted to the Scholastic Awards in a previous year. The awards in the portfolio category of this year are Justin Aguizio, a gold key for Discover the Unknown.
Stacia Collins, a silver key for Welcome to My Brain.
Rebecca Nicholson, a silver key for Omnipresent Observations.
And Sarah Pointek, a silver key for Watchfulness Within Society.
The American Vision nominees represent what most people would consider best in show. After the initial judging is completed for each category, the individual gold keys are assembled, and all of the judges from all categories choose 5 works that they feel represent the best within the criteria of originality, technical ability, and personal vision. Our American Vision nominees for this year are Taney Basinger, grade 11, Connellsville High School, for Fabric of Thought.
Gina Kauser, grade 11 from Canon McMillan High School, for her painting A Morning with Him.
Sienna Heasley, grade 8, Trinity Middle School, for Shadowed in Drawing and Illustration.
Ava Luxus from Canon McMillan, for her drawing How I Perceive Myself to Be.
And Rishi Janapareddy, grade 8, South Fayette Township Middle School, for Painting of the Soldier. Now, all of these American Visions nominees were sent on to New York, where, along with all of our Gold Key winners, they were judged at the national level. We are pleased at this time to announce that this year, our national award recipients are
Donata Lancaster received a silver medal for her painting Judgment.
and Taney Basinger, who received a gold medal and American Visions Medal for her film Fabric of Thought.
Dum 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 dum. Wake up, eat breakfast, wash my face. All relatively simple tasks compared to the next one on the list. Get dressed. Oh, come on, just get dressed. Just put on some clothes before your brain explodes. I'm past that point. When you're a junior in high school, you've got no choice. I really don't want to look like I am too, or seem like I have tried too hard by wearing something new. I'd really like to wear this suit. I found it for $1. My arms are too long and my legs are too wide. Why couldn't I be taller? It's funny how the longer you stare, the more faults you can find. Push them out, 'cause I have made up my mind. After this exhausting clothing hunt, I think I'm gonna wear what I want.
Congratulations to all.
Now, if you visit the artandwriting.org website and select our region, you can find a link to this exhibit under events. We hope you take some time to explore this interactive exhibit and enjoy the work of these talented artists and writers. The exhibition includes a number of large files, including the videos, which you can see all of the videos, the gold, silver, and honorable mention. So some pages might take a few seconds to load before playing properly. Congratulations to all the participants, and we look forward to seeing many of you in person next year.
Students, we are celebrating you today. Thank you for having the courage to share your art and writing with us. Hopefully, some of you will choose writing and/or art in the future, because the arts encourage understanding, help us to make connections, and establish a kinder, more humane world. Artists and writers are the catalysts for change, for they are the visionaries who dream of what could be. They provide the glue that connects us. As Albert Einstein says, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Scholastic Art and Writing Awards is so proud of you. We look forward to seeing more of you and your work. Please enter the 2022 competition and sign up to attend the Art and Writing Encounter in September at Cal U. Parents and teachers, continue to encourage your children to explore their art. And don't forget to download the student writing book and view the Scholastic exhibit online at artandwriting.org. Have a great day and congratulations, everyone.